So last time we took out all of the old ply floor and walls that were inside the van already, and we gave all a really nice clean. It took a lot longer than we thought to get that done, but it's done now and it's looking really good. It's really shiny inside.
So what we're going to do this time round is we're going to decide on our layout, but before we do that, we've got just the bulkhead at the front that we've got to take out, and that will allow us to see all the floor space that's available to us. So let's get going.
Let's go. So the time's come to take out the bulkhead.
Yeah.
Get to see into the cab from here for the first time, which is pretty cool. Can't quite remove it with just the drill on its own because
Didn't really like it.
yeah, not enough
stuck.
torque. So I'm going to
Like
go
that.
through and do each one manually. So I was trying to get them out with this, which fits T30. Fortunately, it's so small, I can't get enough leverage on it. And okay, that one's going now, but some of these are really, really tight in. I just couldn't turn them. But then the real problem is down here. There's just no way I'm getting a good angle on that to get it out. So don't want to risk burying these ones because drilling through that would be an absolute nightmare. Fortunately, got an old electric screwdriver which doesn't work anymore, but do have the T30 attachment for it. Has a really good grip. So with this one, able to get in. Oh, see how tight that is.
Nice.
Well, we should get them out all with that nicely. So
Cool. Handy.
yeah.
So just while Tim's trying to take out the bolts of the bulkhead, I'm just taking out the last of these sort of cargo loops. There's one here and there's one there as well. Hopefully might be able to repurpose these somewhere. We'll see.
Having fun there, Abby?
Oh, so some clever person at Ford has decided to bolt this handle in the most awkward place possible. So I can only turn this spanner at about 20-30 degrees each time. I'm going to be here for a while, I think. My hands are so cold now. Oh, it's more awkward with gloves on. Right,
Got it?
there we are.
Handles off.
Woo. Pop
So
these out.
hopefully now. Give me a hand, Abby.
Let's see.
See if it comes out.
Oh, something at the bottom.
Oh,
No. Okay.
there's the cab.
Hey. That's heavy.
So now we can see straight into the cab, which is very cool.
Suddenly looks a lot bigger.
You can see under our seats there.
Bit gross.
We were kind of imagining we'd be able to build a new bulkhead that went straight up, but as you can see, the chairs lean back a little bit into the cab, and there's really no clearance at all. And in fact, if I get in and extended this to my, like, well, maybe that's a little bit extravagant, but from there, it's probably my normal driving position. It comes out quite far. So yeah, that's interesting. I have to think something around this. Either that, or I just have to drive like this all the time.
I think that would be very safe.
It's like right up against the cab. So now that we've got everything in the van clear, we're going to start marking out our layout. We've got a mock-up here we did on paper with little cutouts we made for things we think we're going to need and rough placement of them. But obviously until we get them in the van we're not sure if it's actually going to fit. So we're just going to mark out the measurements with this blue tape and hopefully it will kind of work.
Let's get to it.
That is the spot reserved for our double bed with a little extension, hopefully, and a little seat area. got the kitchen coming around here. That square box is the shape of the sink that we've got. The oven is going to go in there,
Probably.
hopefully. And then this is a bit of extra work surface.
So we've marked it all up in there now, using our little blueprint as a guide, which we didn't know if it was going to be that handy or not, but it turns out it really was. Mostly for like the bigger things like the bed and the shower and the appliances.
Quite fun lying
things.
down in a little bed space and get an idea of how it's going to be.
Yeah. But what we realised is that inside there, space is really at a premium. We need to be much more accurate with our measurements and things.
And we didn't include anything on there, did we? Like the walls and the cladding and everything that's going to go on in there. So
the ply lining and things like that, you don't really think about when you're first starting the project.
and if you drew a line around that grid, it's going to be so small you wouldn't even see it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're hoping that there's something a bit more accurate that we can use to sort of map out where everything's going to go. But so far, this has been really handy.
So we've transferred our paper drawing into SketchUp, and we've tried to do it to scale based on the measurements we've taken out in the van. A little bit tricky, obviously, because there's lots of curves, so when you're using the tape measure, everything is a different measurement. But as best as we can at the moment, we've got it in there, and we've put in some of the common objects that we know we're going to have, like the fridge and the oven. Oh, just dropped a fridge there. We've got some of the objects in there of what they're going to look like. In hopefully the right dimensions, so we can kind of see if things are going to fit. And so that's what we've got now. Obviously it's going to iterate quite a lot, I'm sure, but it's going to be very interesting to see when we get to the end of this project how similar or not it is to what we've done at the start. Could be completely different, maybe our design completely doesn't work at all, but right now at least it's something that we're starting to work towards. So we'll show you that now, and then we've got to build it, I guess. Okay, so here we have our van. Let's give you a quick tour of our rough design so far. This is basically the actual dimensions of our transit on the inside, or as close as we can get to it. And these weird shapes here is because this is where it kind of dips inside, where we're going to put some insulation in those bits. And we have actually tried to model the outside edge as well. So you can see here, this is the outside edge and the inside edge.
After a lot of doing.
Took a lot of work to model this bit, but wanted to get it as precise as possible. And you can see on the roof here, we've got our fan, which is looking quite good up there, with a couple of solar panels. We're not sure actually how many we're going to have at the moment, or obviously exactly where they're going to go.
It's just an example, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is just a guide to give us a general idea of how everything could fit together.
Yep.
If we then walk in to the van, so this is the doorway. I'm walking really slow.
You can see on the left there, above the oven, we've put a little hatch which would go through into the cab. And we were originally thinking that we were probably going to have some kind of doorway that would go in. But after talking about that for a long time, we decided that that would just take up too much space on our countertop, and
yeah,
actually we wanted more space in the kitchen.
We realised that the only place the oven can really go, and we want to have a nice oven in there, is pretty much here. We were thinking it could go here, but as you can see, this is why doing it here is actually quite useful, because there just wasn't enough space to get the oven in with the sink, unless we put the sink in the corner, which we also didn't really want to do. Wanted it just behind the window there.
Yeah. So at least this way, you can still get in there, but you're not sacrificing as much space in the kitchen.
Yeah, so it's become more like an emergency hatch. Actually, on this it just looks like it's a photo frame or something, but that is actually a hole of a dimension that might not be exact.
Yeah.
And then if we walk into the kitchen,
we've got our nice sink there, which is actually the size of the sink we've got. We've already got one. And we managed to get one actually that was made out of resin from a company online than whatever else they're made of usually.
Yeah, Abby wanted a Belfast sink, but it's obviously a lot too heavy to put in really, with our weight restrictions. So this one is an imitation Belfast sink made of resin, which actually looks really nice and it's quite lightweight.
You can see the window above the sink there. Obviously there's not going to be tiles sticking out the top of it, but
hopefully not, but you never know with our building, do you?
I don't think the window is even the right size as the ones we are going to order, I think. But
no, again, it's just a general idea. I mean, that's not even the exact same plant we're going to have. If we pan around then,
get to our shower.
Yeah, we've got a little kitchen island here, which actually has the fridge inside it.
Oh yes.
Which is actually the same dimensions as the fridge we're looking at, but it's maybe not going to go there. It might go around the other side, but for now, that's probably the best place we're thinking.
So the shower, we realised that we would quite like to have a shower with a removable toilet, which you can take out when you want to shower, obviously.
Which isn't drawn because it's been removed.
Yeah, we realised that we wanted one because we were saying that if we're going to be living in the van and doing extended, long-term trips inside, they're mostly going to be, well, to start off with in the UK, because of everything that's going on at the moment, we can't really go anywhere else. It's always cold. So we thought, actually, it's probably a lot nicer for us to just have a fixed shower with a toilet inside, and we won't have to rely on going to gyms or anywhere like that. So here I am inside the shower, which might be a little bit smaller. We're not sure about that. We've tried to measure a rough shower pan size, but we might find we have to change this a little bit. Probably we'll have to sacrifice some of the seat next to it, but hopefully not too much.
Yeah, and then if we move around, so here we have a little seating area. Obviously some kind of things on the wall. This is just an example, really. We've got some kind of cabinet up here, which we'd put our clothes and personal possessions in.
I mean, that's not, definitely probably not how we're going to have it. It's just to sort of demonstrate what kind of thing we're going to
But that is the right size window that we're going to have. So we have got two windows we're going to be putting in, which are on either side of the bed. So maybe not that height, but it is that size. There will be another one on this side as well, but we didn't model that. And then we've got our bed. If I go here, well, this is on the bed here. So that's kind of gives you an idea of what it'll look like from inside the van. And we wanted to have enough space to be able to move around in here, but we also, we don't want to have to put up the bed every night before we go to sleep. So we did wonder if we could get a widthways bed in here, but unfortunately that's one of the first things we actually checked when we just bought the van. I'm a little bit too tall. I mean, it could just work if we were very creative how we build into the walls and have a little bit less insulation there, but even then it's going to be pretty tight. So we decided against that, and instead we thought we'd come up with some kind of hybrid bed that is part fixed and part collapsible. And we actually can show you the first iteration of that. Bit more like this, which we thought would actually be quite good. We'd have the bed and have the mattress in two parts. One part would basically be removable and would form the seat, back of the seat area here. But as you can see, when we modelled it here, we realised that it just takes up almost half of the entire van.
Because it's constrained to that configuration, isn't it? So if that was a backrest there, then we would have literally no seating area at all.
Yeah, so we scratched that pretty much straight away, and instead, we have put in, or hopefully put in, not yet obviously, our plan is to build a kind of sliding bed. So the way that would work is that this is how it would be during the day. So you can sit on there, if you imagine some cushions or duvet or whatever.
It's still nice and cozy.
Yeah, a little sofa, but feet down. And then when you want to go to bed, all you have to do is basically pull out the slats like this, and then you can pull your mattress. We'll actually have a piece of the mattress that goes around the sides here that forms the backrest of these, which hopefully will fit on this perfectly, and then you'll be able to sit on there. And then when you're done, all you have to do in the morning when you're putting the bed back is just literally slide this back in there.
Yeah. And obviously it's not being supported by anything in this diagram at the moment, so that's something we have to get around.
That's probably an important part.
Yeah. So then in our seating area, obviously you probably noticed that there's no table. We haven't modelled that yet, but the plan is to have a lagoon table, one that sort of free floats around but is connected sort of down here where Tim's gesturing at the moment. But yes, so that's the plan at the moment for that.
Yeah, and otherwise that's pretty much it. We've tried to model it just a basic structure. So obviously there's lots of things missing here. I mean, there's nothing in this garage area at all. We're obviously going to have some batteries in there. We're
Water
going to need
tanks, and
tanks and
gas canisters,
heating, all that
etc.
kind of good stuff that makes it actually livable, which is conveniently not shown at all. So we're hoping there'll be enough space, you know, under these units here and stuff to build it. And obviously this plan might completely change and might not work at all, but they give us something to work off.
Yeah.
And these, I mean, the design here as well is, I mean, looks quite nice in here, but obviously this is just a mock-up really, so we might actually have some little kitchen cupboards around here. There's actually the existing over bulkhead storage area, which we'll probably repurpose as a
cupboard or something.
Some kind of larder.
Yep,
Hopefully it's big enough for a box of cereal. That would be great.
It's all open to change.
All open to change.
But it's a good start.
But yeah, so that is it. That is our current plan of what we're hoping to build, or something at least vaguely similar
along
to that.
those lines anyway.
Along those lines.
So next we're gonna, I think, tackle the outside of the van and just fix any problems there. We might look at the trim and things like that.
Yeah, because unfortunately before we actually start building the inside, because our van is a second-hand van, there are a number of things, just a few little things
Tweaks.
here and there that need tweaking or fixing.
So yeah, we'll see you then.
See you next time.
If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments below.